Tony Speaks, and this is my lovely wife, Kim. We are the founders and co-creators of the lifestyle brand and podcast, Becoming Disciplined. Every week we meet, learn from, and share best practices with highly disciplined men and women from a variety of fields and endeavors.
Follow us on our journey.
The Rock is in the building. Coach Rock served in the United States Army from 2002 to 2005 as a 19 Delta Cavalry Scout. He is currently the head coach for the Virginia Mutiny, and he is also the outside linebacker coach for Freedom High School. But most importantly, this week, The Rock is in the building, and he is becoming disciplined. Today on Becoming Disciplined, we interview Coach Jason Rock. Coach Rock, welcome to Becoming Disciplined. We are so honored to have you.
Hey, thank y'all very much. Definitely happy to be here.
Amen. Well, Coach Rock, before you educate us and share the current status, I think it's good for my audience to be aware of your context, the beginning of your story, your origin story. Where did you grow up, Coach Rock?
So I grew up for the most part, right here in Woodbridge, Virginia. So my father was in the military, so we did a little bit of traveling. But for the most part, right here in Woodbridge, went to Potomac High School, ended up joining the military, and then came back home after that.
Okay. What year did you graduate Potomac?
2001.
2001. Okay, all right. And then what branch of service did you go into?
So I was in the Army for almost 4 years. I was part of the initial takeover of Baghdad in 2003.
Wow.
Did 18 months there. Came home, and I had full custody of my oldest son. So I came home to do that, and ever since then, just been kind of working and grinding. And before I got into my own coaching career, so I played for a little while after that as well.
Awesome. Man, I didn't even know you were a veteran. I served as well, but I did not serve anywhere near Baghdad. I stayed right in the D.C. metro area. The only trouble I got into was in Georgetown. Amen. So I was in the Presidential Honor Guard, man. So
okay.
Yeah, the old guard. You know about the old guard, and
Definitely.
So. Well, thank you. I know it's a cliche, but I mean it because I've served the Department of Defense for well over 20 years. So, truly, thank you for your service, brother.
Hey, no problem. Thank you for yours as well.
Amen. Now, what was your early childhood like? Would you say your early childhood was conventional or unconventional? What was it like?
Pretty conventional. I grew up, both my parents, my dad was in the military for a little while, and then my mom is from the South, so I kind of had a pretty disciplined childhood growing up, So even nowadays, I'll be at work and I can talk to someone who I may be above at work, but they're older than me, and I still call them yes sir, no ma'am. You know what I mean? It's just the way I am. So, but no, pretty conventional. Played sports growing up. It's actually funny. I didn't start playing football until I got to high school. Never played on a team until I got to high school, and then once I did, it just fell in love with the game. So
awesome. Now, you spoke about your dad, but is there any, not just your dad, but is there anyone outside of your family and your early childhood development that inspired you with your with their level of discipline?
Yeah, early childhood would probably been my grandmother was in our life a lot as well. Being from the South, my mom being from the South family was a big thing for us. Obviously coaches as well. Growing up, so I played a high level of soccer my whole life until I got to high school. So just different figures here and there just kind of help mold it. Like they say, it takes a village.
Amen. There's an old movie. It's called I forgot the name of the movie, but it has Sanaa Lathan in it, and it asks the question, when did you fall in love with hip hop? Well, the question I have for you is, when did you fall in love with football?
Football would have been like my freshman year of high school. So I grew up playing soccer, moved down to Florida about halfway through my 7th grade year. And then when I got to my freshman year of high school, I started to actually fill out. I was super, super small growing up, so I never got to play football. And as I started to fill out, my parents allowed me to go out, try out for the football team. Ended up making varsity football as a freshman down in Florida, which was a big ordeal. So I played 2 years of varsity football down there before we moved back. And as soon as first time stepping foot on the field, it's just another world. I guess it's one of those places, kind of like with MMA, where you can release a little tension, a little aggression, and it's applauded.
I hear you, brother. Now, so you played varsity. I mean, you played on the varsity squad as a freshman?
Yes, sir.
Oh, that's big. That's huge.
I didn't get a whole lot of playing time, but I was on the squad. I did a lot of special teams and stuff like that. But yeah.
That is awesome. Now, what is your favorite position? Let me just tell you mine. Growing up, mine was always the cornerback position. Not the quarterback, the cornerback position. I was a big Deion Sanders fan, and my mind's slipping me the brother that used to play for the Redskins, Darryl Green. Yeah, I was a big fan of him as well. What was your favorite position on the football field?
Mine's always been linebacker. So linebacker is kind of like the quarterback of the defense for the most part, and at the same time, it's one of the most versatile positions on the field. You have to be able to do a little bit of everything.
Sure.
So it's kind of like a jack of all trades, master of none type deal. You have to be able to fill in the run game. At the same time, you might find yourself trying to cover a wide receiver or a tight end, so you're running downfield having to cover as well. So it just takes a little bit of everything. And I tell people it's a different mindset. You're kind of born a linebacker. You just can't make somebody a linebacker. It's a whole different mindset. You have to be able to flip the switch, and it's different.
I hear you. Now, I think I know, because I know who was the greatest linebacker when you was graduating high school. So, but I'm not going to jump to conclusions. So, who's your favorite linebacker of all time?
I got a couple. Just because of different styles of play, like I said, linebackers have to do multiple things. So, with some guys being better at one thing or another, Patrick Willis is one of my favorites. Very versatile, very athletic. But at the same time, you got guys nowadays like Luke Kuechly, that is amazing as well. But back then, back in the day, Redskin days, you had you had some greats back there, But yeah, like Urlacher, I guess I kind of attached to Urlacher a little bit as well. But yeah, there's been some greats. Mike Singletary was always somebody I watched as well. Just his mind for the game, knowing where the ball was going to be before it was there, was amazing.
Sure. Now, what techniques and disciplines do you teach your players?
Repetition is key. It's kind of like, so I coach a lot with military, like the military mindset and just military slogans and sayings. So when we go through stuff, I tell them slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Because if you're just going through it full speed, doesn't do nothing for you if you don't have the right technique. So perfecting the technique, going through it nice and slow, the speed will come along with it over time. And the other biggest thing is when you're going through different drills, just keeping your eyes up. You can't play football staring at your feet. You can't play football looking behind you. Your eyes gotta be up at all times.
That's good stuff. I'm gonna clip that up, and I'm gonna put that out there just separate. Can you say that expression again? Slow is smooth, smooth is fast?
Yes, sir.
All right, go ahead now. All right, now, what coach in the league do you study or admire?
So my mom being from the South, my mom's whole side of the family is from Alabama, so I'm a huge University of Alabama fan. And with that being said, it doesn't get much better than Nick Saban when it comes to coaching. So that guy is amazing. And the high school I coach at, he's visited a couple times, and so some of the things that he says is kind of, you would never think of it until he says it, and then once he says it, you're like, oh wow, that makes sense. For instance, we were he came to the school, and one of the other coaches asked him. He said, "Coach," he said, "what are some drills I can do to get my guys to be better tacklers?" And Nick Saban was 100% honest. He said, I don't know what to tell you. He said, I only recruit guys that know how to tackle.
Right.
You know, so it is
Yeah,
what
by
it
the
is.
time you get recruited by Nick Saban, yeah, like
Yeah,
tackling
it's
is
a little
not.
late at that point.
Yeah. That's funny. That is true funny. Now, how many hours of film do you study now compared to when you played?
Um, so it's funny you said. So when I was down in Florida, we would watch a lot of film. And I see the difference between Florida high school football and football up here, unless you're at a top premier school. So when I lived in Florida, we watched a lot of film as a player. When I got up this way, we didn't watch that much, to be honest with you.
Mm.
But now that I'm a coach, anywhere, depending on the opponent, like if I've played them before or the level of the game, like we went into our league championship game, um, I probably logged in probably 40, 50 hours that week going into the game.
Mm.
So
Wow.
like this coming up, national championship game coming up, I'll probably log anywhere between 40 to 60 hours a week going into it.
Mm. Mm. Now, what is your ultimate goal in football? Where do you want to go with it?
I would love to be a college coach. Um, you know, my wife says to me all the time, she says, "Well, babe, we might as well, if we're going to do football, we might as well just go straight to the NFL. You know, let that be the top echelon." But to me, college football is a little bit more pure, and there's more mentorship there. You know, you're a little bit more hands on with your guys, still molding young men. Where once they get to the league, it's more of a business transaction at that point. So I like the mentorship portion of it a lot. And so college would probably be about as top as I would go.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Now, I'm not an X's and O's guy, so I'm more of a hardcore basketball fan. So I'm not an X's and O's guys when it comes to football. So what you're going to say, I'm not going to understand. All right, but I do have some football. I have some hardcore football fans that watch this show. All right, so is there a play, a technical play that your teams run that really reflect and define your coaching career, for our hardcore football fans that are watching?
So for me, I've only been on the defensive side of the ball since I've been coaching.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm a kind of in your face kind of guy when it comes to coaching. My big slogan is making the other team change what they do instead of us adapting to them.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in semi-pro, you only get two, maybe 3 days a week to practice.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, if you can make them change what they do well, you're gonna have a higher chance of being successful. So I'm a blitz heavy guy, and I'll lock up man coverage with my corners, and I just send pressure from different angles. To me, the most satisfactory thing, I guess, is the defenses I run. I run a 4-2-5 hybrid defense. And so with that, I'm able to send blitzes from different angles and different positions that most people are used to seeing.
Okay.
So it really makes it difficult for offenses.
Okay. Well, I understood everything until you hit the 4-2-5 blitz. Then that's when you got a little too technical for a brother, but I understood everything else. So I was hanging with you there. I was hanging with you. Now, for the young people that watch this show, what advice, we like to time travel. What advice would you give your 15-year-old self? Now, you're time traveling, and your 15-year-old self, they can't see you. All they're going to do is be able to hear you in their ear, and you're going to be able to tell them like one sentence. Your 15-year-old self, what do you tell your 15-year-old self?
Keep your grades up.
Awesome. Awesome. Good stuff. Good stuff. Amen. Yeah, I was worried about my J's, and I was worried about all the wrong things in school other than the grades, but the grades stick with you,
They don't realize it. I coach high school as well, and I got one of the most talented outside linebackers in the state of Virginia under me, because I coach outside linebackers, and right now we're trying, we're not repairing, but kind of modifying his grades. He's working on trying to fix and just elevate the grades. He has great grades as it is, but certain schools that he wants to offer him, they have a higher expectation, and so it just kind of is what it is. At that point, we got to hit the books a little bit harder. Summer school, even though he He was AB honor roll this last year, but we're still doing some summer school to replace some grades from his freshman, sophomore year. So, yeah.
That's big. That's big.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time it is in your time zone. At least on my time, it's after church, and I don't know about you, sometimes after church I'm just lacking energy. Courtney.
Yes.
Can you get me a one of them vitamins that your mama takes?
Here you go, Daddy.
Let me try one of these. Tastes pretty good.
My God, Kim, what do you have in there? It's made with vitamins B9 and B12. It's great for my overall health. It's made with pectin, a unique fiber in fruit peels. It's simple and delicious. Kim, did you know that more people search apple cider vinegar in the U.S. than tea? Google has 15,000 people searching that word every day in the U.S. alone.
Kim, how can more people get this gummy?
If you want to support the podcast, or if you're looking to improve your health, you can order these gummies at https://go.goalie.com/becoming disciplined. Don't forget to use our promo code Becoming Disciplined.
A couple years ago, it was a big deal, but then the league has kind of changed the way they play the game. And I'm just, just as a thought, how worried were you back, a couple years back, and how worried are you now regarding concussions for your players?
So anyone who's ever watched me coach or has come to one of my games, I'm very vocal. But at the same time, I don't give the refs a very hard time unless it is player safety involved. At that point, I take that very serious. With some youth football games, I've actually been kicked out of a couple games for arguing with the refs, but it involved player safety. So at that point, there's some words I may have used that I shouldn't have. But when it comes to my kids, I watched one of my kids get taken away in an ambulance. Very next play, a dirty hit happened again. They're still not throwing a flag, so I pulled my team off the field. My parents were behind me. I apologize for some of the things I said, but at the end of the day, them kids' safety is way more important than that scoreboard.
Amen. 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 Now, as someone who teaches high performance, as someone who gets men ready for battle, and who's actually also been part of leading men into battle, how well do you sleep, and how important do you think good sleep is regarding the disciplines for battle preparation?
I feel sleep is very important. At the same time, my sleep schedule is probably the worst sleep schedule in the world.
Right.
So I work overnights. So I work 10:30 to 8:30. So by the time I get home, it's 10 o'clock in the morning. I take my dog out, feed my dog. This year was virtual, so make sure my kids are in class doing what they're supposed to do. By the time I lay down, it's 11:30, 12 o'clock, and I'm back at the high school by 3 to coach football. And I may catch a little nap after practice in the evenings before I go to work in the evenings.
Right.
But for the most part, maybe 5 hours a day during the week is where my sleep schedule's been for a little while now. I just took a week-long vacation with the family, 7 days straight, no football, no work, and I probably caught more sleep in that week than I did in the last couple months,
That's good, man. That's good. Hey, well, you're not alone. It's probably 50%. Half of my high performers sleep really well, and they go to sleep every night at the same time and wake up at the same time, and they sleep like babies. And half of the people I ask this question to, they do like you. They do 3 to 5 hours a night. So you're not alone. You're not alone. Now, what book outside of the Bible has shaped your life the most?
So to me, I want to get more back into reading, but to be honest with you, I've never really been a huge reader.
Sure.
I've never been one, even in learning, to be able to learn from words. I'm more of like a doer or a seer.
Sure.
So when I find books that became movies that are really accurate, I'll get into those. I'm more of like, I guess you could say like a visual type person. But I'm trying to work on that myself. So I can't really get on my own kids about reading if I'm not reading. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it is something I'm trying to work on. But when I do read, I like to read like military style books. Something that I can kind of I can tune into, something that kind of grabs me and my attention span, and I can kind of visualize where I was, and kind of piece it together.
Okay, so let me flip the question a little bit. What is a movie or a song that has inspired your life in a phenomenal way?
So a couple movies. There's it's an older movie, Brian's Song. It's a football movie.
I hear you.
That was one for me. Pursuit of Happiness, watching Will Smith in that role. Just his drive and his never quit for his family kind of shows you, not really, I don't want to say what it takes to be a man, but kind of some of the key components, of being a man and raising children is you just can't give up. I like underdog type stuff where, you kind of count it out. I tell people, even with football, hard work can be talent when talent doesn't work. Right. So just keeping that drive and just keep driving no matter what people say. Some of the stuff I kind of like. Song-wise, none that really. I'm very versatile with music. I'll go from listening to hip hop to country to rock and roll. But there's not really any songs I can really put a finger to kind of like push me in that sense of a way.
No, I understand, brother. I understand. I get it. Now, at Becoming Disciplined, we examine discipline or organization in the following areas. And don't worry, everybody needs me to repeat this twice to them. All right. So, or sometimes 3 times. All right. So this is a long list. We look at spirituality, mental discipline, physical discipline, emotional intelligence, financial discipline, time management, and home and data organization. Which of these is the strongest? Which is the weakest? And if you have a weak one, do you have a plan to get strong in that weak area? So let me read it again. And so listen for the strong area.
All right.
The weak area. And then if there's a weak area, what's the plan on becoming disciplined in that weak area? So I'm gonna name them off again. Spirituality, mental discipline, physical discipline, emotional intelligence, financial discipline, time management, home and data organization. Which one's the strong? What's the weak? And then what's the plan?
So I feel mental would probably be my strongest. I'm able to kind of persevere and push through some things that most couldn't. And I think that comes from being in the military, being in Iraq. And then I think a tie would kind of be my, well, not really a tie, I guess. So time management used to be one of my poor ones, and as far as being able to balance the football and family lifestyle. Right. But I've gotten way better at that. Being able to just, when I go on vacation with my family or something, just turning my phone off or staying away from football or so what, because at the end of the day, my family needs me just as much as my team does, if not more. Amen. And so if I'm not there for them, they support me, so I have to support them as well.
Sure. Now, let's time travel one more time. You mentioned your babies. How many babies do you have?
So 9 total. So I have 3 stepchildren that are grown adults, and then I have 4, and then me and my wife have 2 foster sons as well.
Wow. See, I was just showing my kids the Brady Bunch. I don't know if you remember the Brady Bunch, but
my family is not only the Brady Bunch, but it's like the United Nations. So my wife is African American. So I have my 3 oldest are African American. My 4 are white, and then our 2 foster sons that we're about to adopt are from Guatemala. Oh, so wow. we're like the we are the epitome of a mixed family, of what this country kind of stands for,
That is awesome, brother. That is awesome. That is awesome. Now, so let's time travel one more time. Now I don't know for you whether you were in the room or whether it was at a later time, but let's time travel to that moment when your first baby was placed in your arms and you're holding that baby and you're a much younger man and you have one thing to whisper to that young dad. What advice do you give that young dad?
Patience.
Amen. Amen.
Patience.
Amen.
Because none of mine, I'm definitely learning now with the newer two that you can't even say like one parent parents versus another. It even happens in your own home, the way you have to parent every child differently. So patience, because nothing's going to be the same. There's no book on how to do it, or what's supposed to happen when it happens, when a kid walks, when a kid talks. Patience.
That's awesome. That's good advice. That is good advice. That is good advice. Now, Coach Rock, how can we promote and support your football programs? First of all, can you name the all the various football programs that you're involved in right now?
So I'm currently the head coach and defensive coordinator for the Virginia Mutiny semi-pro team. We have a Facebook page. If you just type in Virginia Mutiny, it'll pop up. I'm the outside linebacker coach at Freedom High School here in Woodbridge, Virginia.
Awesome.
And then I help run the defense and coach the linebackers for Playmakers Elite 11U travel team as well, which we finished second at Nationals last year. So my 11U, actually, we probably traveled the most with them out of all my teams. And it's the group of kids on that team is scary, the talent that they have. It really is. To be 11 years old, to do the things they can do is wild. So we fly out to Cali in August to play 2 games in one weekend. So we have like a 20-game schedule, and everybody on that schedule is ranked in top 25 in the nation. So we're not dodging nobody this season. Kind of going out to prove it.
Awesome. Now the Mutiny has a big game coming up pretty soon. Is that right?
Yes, sir. So July 25th, 7 p.m., Potomac High School in Dumfries, Virginia. We're playing for the 2A National Championship against the Fayetteville Ducks out of Fayetteville, North Carolina.
Oh, wow.
Should be a good show. It should be. Well, from the film I've watched so far, they're definitely very well coached, very disciplined team. But at the same time, I know what my guys are capable of, and I know what my coaching staff brings to the table. So I'm pretty confident in this one.
Oh, right. Well, you're on the right podcast because I grew up in Vietnam, and then my wife went to Garfield High School, and so we've got all kind of matter of fact, my home church used to meet at Freedom High School, so we're going to this podcast has a lot of people in the Fayetteville, Woodbridge pipeline.
Okay.
So and what date and time is that again?
July 25th at 7 p.m. It's a Sunday evening.
That is awesome. All right. Well, we're gonna now. How much? Do you know how much they're gonna be charging?
I think they're charging $10. Okay. But there's games starting that day, like at 1 p.m. I think there's 3 or 4 games that day. Okay. And $10 gets you into all of them. It's not like you have to pay it and leave and come back in. So $10 gets you in. I mean, it's 3 high quality semi-pro football games in one day. So it's not a bad deal at all.
Okay. Now, and what high school is it going to be at one more time?
Potomac High School in Dumfries.
Okay. All righty. So, man, we look forward to promoting that and putting that out. Now, Coach Rock, we can't thank you enough for coming on. You didn't have to do this. You didn't need to do this. We truly appreciate it. You have the last word. And just so you know, your audience is typically 30 to 55-year-olds who they're trying to become better versions of themselves. They're trying to get it. They're on that pursuit of happiness tip. They're trying to make it. They're trying to be more disciplined in their lives so that they can get to where they need to get to. Do you have any closing thoughts for our audience?
Yeah, so I'd actually like to go with something my wife tells me a lot. So I'm actually in the midst of trying to go back to school myself. And one of the things I tell young kids and everybody, and my wife is big push on education as well, and that's one thing nobody can take from you, is education. You know, you can get in trouble. They can take away your freedom. You can make some bad financial choices. They can take away your money, but no one can take away the education you've earned. And in today's era, obviously, education is definitely the key to success.
Amen. 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 Well, thank you so much, brother. We appreciate you. We're gonna be rooting for you, and we can't wait to see the game. And I'm gonna definitely do my best to try to be there. I ain't making promises, but I'm gonna try to be there, and I'm gonna let people know about it. I'm gonna promote it nonstop on our web pages, and we're rooting for you, brother.
I thank you all so very much. I thank you for the opportunity. Definitely don't mind coming back again if y'all have me. So,
most definitely. We need to do a little short 15-minute just a short 5-minute after you win the championship. All right?
I'm down for it.
Okay. God bless you, brother. Let me turn this all off. If you enjoyed Coach Rock as much as we did, please come out and support his team on July 25th, 2021. They will be playing the Fayetteville Ducks versus the Virginia Mutiny. The kickoff is 7 p.m. Admission is $10 at Potomac High School at 3501 Panther Drive, Dumfries, Virginia 22026. Let's go, Virginia Mutiny, and come on out and support Coach Rock. And also, if you haven't already subscribed, what you waiting on? You better subscribe right now.